Yes, y'all. Yes, y'all. I'm old school, but I keep it funky fresh, y'all. And this is deep, y'all. I'm from the deep, y'all. And what you get is what you motherfucking see.
Welcome back, humans! You know what day it is. My name is Jaime, giving exclusive Vince on headlines that you don't even care about. And with that said, let's get on with some Vince. This one you should care about. There's this new film by Mel Gibson that came out recently called The Sound of Freedom. And apparently this film is very controversial because of the topic of the subject of the film. And a lot of movie channels and a lot of, outlets aren't even promoting this film. And the reason they're not promoting this film is because the topic, like I said, the subject of the film. It covers human trafficking. And it's based off a true story of a federal agent who became like a child savior of some sort. Tracking down pedophiles and going after them, as from with the government and everything, doing these government stakeouts and tracking these guys down and busting them. And he ended up, going deeper than he planned. And the movie is very, very, very graphic, very intense. I suggest you guys all see it because, like I said, it's out there and no one's even promoting this film. And a lot of people aren't because, like I said, of the subject. A lot of higher ups, people that own media outlets, probably don't want this stuff out there to get people sniffing around on this stuff, because a lot of people are involved. And this movie is very, 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 very wild. And human traffickers are like swimming in money. That's one thing you find out when you watch this film. Makes you want to do some research and things like that. These people are like bathing in money. They make annually across the globe upwards of $150 billion in this human trafficking game. They victimize over 25 million humans worldwide. And it's like crazy percentages get used for forced labor and sex trafficking. You see some countries where they steal young kids and make them go into military, and you see other ones where they steal the young kids and they put them into prostitution and into this sex trade. And it's really wild, and I can't believe that nobody ever wants to cover these type of things when it's out there everywhere. This Epstein thing that happened, and it just gets shoved under the rug when nobody wants to talk about the Epstein thing when, that Chase Bank, I believe it was the Chase Bank, settled over $290 million on hush money from the Epstein things that were going down. That's why you ain't hearing nothing about it. And and who approved those funds for the bank to let the people pay off? That just goes deeper and deeper when you talk about those scenarios where people say you want to follow the money. Well, this is where we should really follow this money to see what's happening here because, my goodness. And they say the number one state in America that has the highest percentage of human trafficking is the state of California. It gives that movie to me it gives that movie Lost Boys, a whole different outlook. Like it was a metaphor. Because when you see the beginning of the movie and they talk about that town in Santa Cruz or whatever. Like it was all these missing signs everywhere, just missing young people, like all these young children and young teens just all missing in this place. But it was from the vampires, coming to get them. Wow, that's just like a weird. That gave me goosebumps. Like I said, I do weird. Like I said, I always do that, and I apologize, but that's just the way I do it. I'll watch something a long time ago or read something a long time ago and just put these weird pieces together. And I felt like, being that that's number one state where this has been happening, children missing and all these things. And, they make a film about it where vampires are taking young kids. And I don't know, man. It was just like a weird tie-up to me. So with crime, they pretty much are run like an organization in all forms nowadays. Because nowadays, I guess the more money you make, the more levels you reach. It's okay for you to do it as long as the government gets their cut, not from, I don't know if it's like from taxes wise or they just here's if you're making $100 million on the street, we're getting probably 40 or 50 of that. You get to, or 60 of that, and you get to still keep your 40 million or 20 million, and you get to still be a gangster on the street. Who knows what's going on right now. And that's why I feel like they can't be stopped, because they're all part of this. It's the most powerful and influential people involved is why it doesn't get shut down. Nobody talks about, everybody wants to talk about this, former president's files and all this shit and try to get this dude in jail. The current president's like literally doing crimes in front of our face. They ain't trying to put him in jail. The Clintons did what they did. Like one of the Clintons, I think it was Hillary or somebody, like they were getting, investigating and shit. Like I think she like smashed a cell phone or something. They tried to destroy a cell phone. Like her shit, it wasn't in the cloud or something. They couldn't just go to the cloud. But that had to be some kind of illegal activity. But no, those people don't get in trouble. But this thing here, this is like, I swear, this is just, I don't know. It's just really wild. They're just so untouchable because of the powerful people that are involved in this big crime. And you see, like I said, this film really hits you really hard because I'm a parent. Even if you're not a parent, this film just hits you really hard in the heart because they're young children, man, and a lot of kids are just trying, especially if they're poor and they're places of poverty. They're like one of the easiest targets and things like that because they want to get out and they want to be a star. They want a better life and they want to do these things. And, they're like easy prey. I feel like something has to be done and should be done, and this should be more brought out to the open, but I don't think it will. I feel like anybody that comes out there gets shut down. And you have others out there that go out there and try to speak out in some sort of desperate attempt of like redemption. Like some famous person all of a sudden, like, we're supposed to forgive them now that they just, did what they did to all these children and drank all that blood and did these sacrifice shit. And now we're supposed to forgive you because you're trying to tell on somebody. But even if we did forgive you and try to, back you up and try to see what's going on, the media is only going to get you and they ridicule you and they cancel you. And they make a fool of you. You look crazy now because you're talking all this shit that could be true. And the media itself is also involved. These crimes are so huge. They're like such a big magnitude. And the media just buries them under the rug. And it's because of the power of people involved. They just bury all these things in the rug because they're too busy keeping us, afraid of the air and afraid of our neighbors. Well, I hope y'all enjoyed this episode. My name is Jaime, and this has been another episode of Meant to Vent. Till next time, humans. See ya.